Hey netizens, virus, 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 lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. As you all know, this is what has sneaked up on the world right now. The virus is pandemic and critical because of its tendency to spread rapidly and silently. It has a significant incubation period where its transmission goes unnoticed and is, of course, unknown to the untrained eye. This is what we already know. The stage that we are in right now is very critical with regard to containing the spread of the virus. The virus is widespread, and in some countries it's off control. What do we learn from the current situation? What is the current scenario? What did the world leaders and organizations miss? Why is it important for you to know as a common individual citizen of this united world? These and a million other questions are racing through every individual's mind right now, for which we may have answers or we may not. But the most important question is what we need to do in the current situation. Let's go through different aspects for us to possibly find the right answer. Lockdown, social physical distancing, isolation. It is the most important exercise in this current situation. Isolation is equal to staying alive, which is why all the governments throughout the world have implemented this lockdown and social distancing. Yet there are places where this is not being followed religiously. That is very sad. The result we have seen and are seeing in the US, Italy, Spain, and so on. Interestingly, there are virus free nations to this date. According to the data from Johns Hopkins, there are 18 small countries which are still virus free, including North Korea. Well, good for them if they are virus free. God be with them. But what about our country? It is slowly pacing towards a community spread. Currently, there are close to 4.5k confirmed cases throughout our country. There are various speculations as to how long this lockdown is going to continue. There are some rumors that WHO handed over a timetable to all the countries over the world that they should be following to maintain the lockdown. That is fake. Let me tell you how this works. How long the lockdown will extend or would go on is completely dependent on the infected, recovered, fresh cases of that country or region at that particular point in time. The situation in our country right now is that we have extended the deadline, but whether or not the government would be able to lift past the deadline depends on how many fresh cases crop up by that time. And looking at the current situation as of today, I don't think that the lockdown would be lifted on April 14th, and it has a 95% chance of being extended up to end of May or even June. Believe me guys, this is absolutely necessary because at this time the graph is just going to go up, and any community gathering in the near future, if the lockdown is lifted, would make things even worse and uncontrollable. It is in each one of our best interests that we stay put at our homes and not go out in the open for as long as possible. Well, how long? At least until we have enough testing capacity, therapeutics, and vaccines out in the open to contain the spread of the virus. Just think about it. Testing capacity. Who are we testing right now? Symptomatic patients only? All of them? Not really. Governments all over the world have not taken the concept of increasing their testing capacity significantly seriously. South Korea has done a remarkable job in almost containing the virus because it had doubled its testing capacity and ensured that all its citizens followed the lockdown seriously. Same is the case with China. Well, there are speculations about whether or not China's numbers are to be believed. There is question. The question is, for a population that China has, even if it withholds its numbers, the catastrophe would be huge, and we would not be hearing from China at all, as all of China would be infected by now, even if we assume that it all started around November 2019 in China and they were not able to contain it. Their strict implementation of lockdown and social distancing, as well as evacuation along with rapid testing, helped them contain the disease to an extent. So, if China has contained the virus, good for it. How much it has to share its experience with the outside world is unknown. How much are the other world leaders wanting to learn from China too is unknown. The most important point along with isolation is trying to get the testing numbers up. Shortage of testing kits is what is the issue currently. Obviously, everywhere. In addition to protective medical gear for medical professionals, masks, etc. Just for you to know, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation had submitted to the Food and Drug Administration (FDA) that the results of the self-testing swabs are in line with the testing samples that are being taken currently. This reduces the number of medical professionals and volunteers needed to carry out these tests, and of course, the possibility of getting themselves infected. Here, the individual can take the test themselves via the nasal swab and submit it to the testing center. The other part of the challenge is the time taken for the test result to show up. Governments also need to work on reducing the time taken for getting the test result out. Basically, it takes at least 24 hours, if not longer, to get the test result. There is information that South Korea was able to get the test results in less than 24 hours, which greatly helped them to control the spread. Most of you might be knowing that it was Bill Gates who blew the whistle way past in 2015 in a conference where he was speaking regarding the potential outbreak of a deadly pandemic in the near future and what should be done in such situations. Well, Bill Gates did not exactly know that at that point in time that it would appear in the form of this virus. But he wanted the world leaders and government to sit up and listen and run simulation tests in case such a situation ever occurred in the future. But that was not paid heed to. The Bill Gates Foundation is working on the vaccine along with many other countries hand in hand. They are also working on the possibility of serum treatment recovered from the patients, infected patients who have recovered from this infection, as these patients carry high antibodies within their serum which have defeated the virus. Potential treatment through white blood cells of patients recovered from the infection. The whole key to this situation is to raise the testing capacity to as numerous as possible and as quick as possible for us to know in which direction we are heading and potentially to manage the lockdown situation better. The current numbers are a guideline but not reflect actual picture, as there might be many more who are infected or symptomatic but not in the numbered list. They might be in some remote area where no supplies could reach them on time. Possibly by the time they reach it, it's too late. As for the lockdown netizens, please stay away from outside physical contact as much as possible and let time be the healer. It is in our best interest that we follow isolation, but we can definitely stay united through internet, which is why possibly it was invented for such situations. Netizens, the virus as we know it does not recognize religion, caste, creed, region, sex, etc., and can happen to anyone. So this is not the time to condemn or play the blame game, but the time to sit back and ensure we are doing our bit to save ourselves and our loved ones through this testing time. Well, for now, it's me saying bye. I will come up with more videos, write ups over the days discussing what actually is going on and getting the common individual involved in the current scenario. Please do share, follow, and subscribe for more updates. Until the next time, stay safe. Stay safe. Ta-da.